home of runners, and we welcome them. Na tunasema raia wote, Wakenya wote, tuchukue nafasi hii, to tune in, tukisupport timu yetu, tunapokaribisha wale teams ambayo wanakuja kucheza mpira.
Good evening. We are coming to you live from the Catholic Social Hall here in Marsabit County, the devolved unit that is known for its prehistorical sites and fossils, which attracts a number of tourists across the globe, sets the stage for our first transgenerational conversation that seeks to build a bridge between the old and the young. This particular conference seeks to listen to one another so that we can transform our country. Since in the morning, our audiences were streaming in and are currently seated, they will have an opportunity to engage our panelists who are currently also seated in this particular hall so that they can engage. This session is exclusively live on a KBC Channel 1 courtesy of the National Cohesion and Integration Commission NCIC in partnership with the Korean International Cooperation Agency KOICA and the United Nations Development Program UNDP. From wherever you're watching us from, you can also have your say through our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 using the hashtag #AmanikwaGround, and we'll be sampling some of your views as the session continues. My name is Abdiaziz Hashim. I'll be your moderator this evening at this town hall, but for now I am not alone.
Naam, mtazamaji, masal heri. Shukran za dhati. Langu jina ni Kamchemenza. Ni mazungumzo ya vizazi vyote. Vijana waweze kushirikishwa kwa ubunifu wao na ukakamavu wao, na wazee waweze kujumuishwa kwa hekima yao. Wanawake, viongozi wa kidini na viongozi wengine waweze kujumuishwa pia kwa ushawishi wao. Mtazamaji, ili mradi tu masuala mbalimbali ima ni ya uongozi ama yanayoathiri jamii yaweze kusawazishwa. Hapa nipo katikati ya kadamnasi. Baadaye watakuwa wanapata nafasi ya kutoa kauli zao, ima ni kwa maswali au kutafuta tu ufafanuzi wa aina yoyote ile kuhusiana na swala la leo. Kwa hivyo mtazamaji, nakupa mwaliko wa awali kabisa uweze kuungana nasi. Kwa sasa nirudishe usukani huu kwa mwenzangu Abdi Aziz aweze kutukunjulia jamvi hili la mazungumzo ya vizazi.
Welcome to our inaugural transgenerational conversation live from Marsabit County. Now this evening our panel consists of Nuria Golo Halakim. She is the Chief Executive Officer of the Marsabit Women Advocacy Program, that is MWADO. Also, she has over 15 years of experience as a teacher and a human rights activist. Also on the panel, we do have a commissioner from the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, that is NCIC, that is Dr. Danvas Makori, a familiar person. Of course, he has been the County Executive Committee member for Nairobi County, both in the finance docket as well as agriculture. He is currently serving not only as a commissioner at NCIC, but also currently the chair of the Technical Committee of NCIC. Also on the panel, we do have a youthful representative. Let me start with Stephen Roba Wako. He is a youth leader and a peace ambassador in Marsabit County. He is the coordinator of the SACU Youth Assembly, also the vice chair of the Interfaith Youth Network. Also, on this particular panel, we do have religious leaders in the form of Sheikh Mohammed Nur Kuli. He is the lead imam at the Jamia Mosque here in Marsabit County, also the vice chairperson of the Marsabit Interfaith Religious Council. He also doubles up as the deputy registrar of the Marsabit Qadhi's Court. And then finally, also a youthful representative, a communication expert as well, that is Farida Mohammed. Not only being a communication expert, she is a youth advocate. She leads the youth initiative at the Initiative for Progressive Change at IFPC. She also contributes to policy work through the SACU Youth Assembly. Those are the members of this particular panel. Once again, good evening and welcome.
Thank you.
Also, a special thanks to our audience who are joining for this particular conversation. And of course, right from the get-go, let me start with the NCIC Commissioner, that is Dr. Danvas Makori. Thank you, Commissioner, for joining us here on KBC Channel 1.
Thank you.
Maybe the first question to you, Commissioner, will be, why are we having this particular conversation? Is our country at a breaking point?
Thanks, Abby. It's good to be home. I usually call Marsabit my second home. I've been here I come here for years, trying to reconcile this great county. It's our first, as you said, in our country to be here. It's the largest county, and Marsabit is special for our country. That's why we're here to begin with. I think we've seen what has happened in our country for the past couple of years. And just a quick background, before the Gen Z protests of 2024, after doing a lot of work in elections, we were in the forefront of elections, especially in informal settlements in Nairobi, Nakuru, in Mombasa, in Kisumu. We realized there is a youth ticking bomb that was not properly engaged. And that's why there was an apathy. If you remember last election, majority of them did not vote. And we could see it. We worked closely with IBC. And we knew there's a problem. So we purposed to re-engage them once the elections are over. But due to many reasons we didn't. Then the protests erupted last year because of the finance. That was the trigger. But there were real issues that were underlying. And in conflict, like it was here, there's what is the trigger, what people see. And then there's the undercurrents, the real issues that really people are feeling and saying that you just need a trigger to spark. And then when we realized there were serious issues with our country, last year we actually designed an engagement called Transgenerational Conversations. That's what you're having today.
Yes.
Way before even Baba said last week that we need to have these. And why the reason is because if you ask the residents, and they will talk here, when we had conflict here, it was the constant engagements. We had 24 engagements here in Marsabit with the youth, with the women, with the religious leaders, with the political elite, everybody else, to find a solution. And it was them, it came from them. We just facilitated it. So learning from that, whenever there's a conflict, and now to answer your question, the country is at an inflection point. We're at an inflection point, and until we have a conversation or an engagement, however you want to call it, there has to be a way forward. So for us as a commission that is tasked to lead, to bring unity, to bring cohesion in the country, there hasn't been much in the past year and a half or so. We figured we need to have this, and it has to be grassroots. It has to be people-led, people-focused, because that's what we've learned. It's not us talking to people, it's them saying, these are the issues, and we think this is the way forward. We just facilitate the conversation. That's why we're having this.
Okay. Yep. And maybe let me toss it to Sheikh there. Sheikh, the Interreligious Council has been very vocal, especially on the issues facing not only the Gen Zs, the millennials in the country, even the older people in this particular country. So what are these underlying issues the commissioners are pointing to maybe is affecting these young ones?
Asante sana ndugu yangu, nachukua nafasi hii kushukuru serikali yetu through NCIC kwa kuleta pamoja yote ambayo imesema hapa. Ni kweli ofisi tuko naye, hawa kutushirikisha sisi kwa amani. Na jambo ambayo naulizia, hawa vijana yetu muula uliopita waleta shida kubwa sana na bado iko katika nchi, na hii ni ukosefu ya kazi. Na njia badala wangechukua kuweza kutatua jambo lao sio hiyo, bali wangeweza kupeleka koti ama kufanya barua kwa serikali kuweza kuhitaji haki yao au kuuliza haki yao, lakini sio kuleta maafa. Na huko tena nikirudia, serikali naye stick kwa law, iweze kushika barabara ya njia ya sheria, waweze kuwa kila saa kwa sheria ifuate constitutionally, badala ya kutumia nguvu zaidi. Watoto wetu, vijana wetu hawangechukua nafasi ya kuweza kupora ama pengine kuleta maafa katika nchi yetu. Hiyo imetuletea aibu kubwa sana. Badala hiyo waweze njia mbadala ya kuweza kuleta amani. Hiyo imetutatiza nchi hii na hasa Nairobi kwa jumla.
And Farida, given that you're youthful leader as well, how did we get here? You've just heard the Commissioner and the Sheikh talking about the underlying issues, talking about unemployment. What are these governance-related issues that you are pointing out, not just last year, but this year as well?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So according to statistics, Marsabit is 60% under 25 years, which makes it a youth-dominated county. And as it stands, there is high rate of unemployment, just as Sheikh has said, and also there is a lot of idleness. And on top of that, we have ethnicity and political incitements. So those are the factors that have led us to here where we are. We are having like constant conflicts, as we've seen the other time we had the Gen Z movement.
Yes.
That is us uniting, coming together, fighting for one common factor. And also here in Marsabit, as a youth leader, I'm very optimistic that we are going to come together and be ambassadors of peace and create a long-lasting security for our county. Yeah.
And to other youthful leader also on the panel is Stephen Robawako. Stephen, you've just heard your members of the panel talking about some of the issues. You're on the ground every day. You're speaking to these young ones here, not only in Marsabit, I'm sure in even neighboring counties within this particular country. What are they telling you are the issues?
Thank you, Abdiaziz. Youths do experience a lot of challenges. And one thing, the Gen Z movement has opened eyes, especially to other generations. And also, one thing that I love about the movement, it's about we are speaking what we think is right. And the Gen Zs are well educated and they know their rights. And the issues on employment, we are trying to create our own employment through digital contents. And we are finding that the government is still taxing. And those are the issues, the challenges that we are seeing, that the government needs to listen to the generation, the I generation, the Gen Z, and also try to act on the things that they are lamenting about. Many a times that we feel that the things that we are speaking about, the things that we are addressing on the social media, they are not being acted upon. And we are ready to talk, we are ready to speak our issues. Let the government listen and act towards we are seeking.
And finally, Nuria, you have been a teacher for over 15 years. You have taught these young ones who are currently out there seeking jobs. They have degrees. Where is the gap?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I've been a teacher for the last 15 years. You know, as our community says, does a child look like the father or the times? And the answer is the times. So what I clearly see here, when we were teaching during our early times as teachers, and what's happening today is totally different. Why? Because we are handling totally a different type of generation, which sometimes we also try to put them in our own situation and try to force them to do what we used to do. So I think that saying culminates it all, that we are not at those times. We have to change with the times, and we have to understand these Gen Zs and other groups which we live with, because as mothers, we are put between a rock and a hard place. We are the mothers of the Gen Z. We are the elders. You know, living from historical perspective and looking at this situation really puts us at a crossroad. So for me, I think, yeah, there are changes. There are things which need to be changed also. And we have to be involved, all of us, in this dialogue so that we can all agree on an amicable solution to take our country forward.
And Commissioner, something very
Yep.
given that he's a youth leader, listening.
Yeah.
Are you listening?
And that's the operative word. So there's hearing and listening. The biggest issue the youth had, I'm going to use this word generally speaking youth, because both Gen Z and millennials, whereas the government is not listening. We are talking down, but not listening. And that's, and I think, a fair, to be very honest with you, and we're having conversations here, lazima tuseme ukweli, it is actually, I think, a fair assessment of the situation. Because a lot of times, and not just the government, I think just leaders at large, if you go to a meeting, audience is given to leaders, political leaders, but very few time or platforms given to the young people to articulate their issues, to ventilate their issues. At one time I was in a very tense situation in an informal settlement in Madare. It was really bad. And we went there, and I did not say anything, just let the young people talk. And 2 hours later, just talking, they just calmed down. See, had we listened last year, when they were saying no to the finance bill, I don't think we'll have been here to begin with, to be honest with you. Because they said the finance bill is punitive, as he said, to the digital content creators, and to everybody. It's not just Gen Z, it was the whole country. And we said no. Our leaders, members of parliament, did not listen to your question. They said, I quote one of them, mtakunywa kama chloroquine. I mean, to the whole world. They say that to them. And that's why they went to the streets. Had they just said, okay, no to finance bill, cancel it, go home, yeah, will not be here in the first place. So yes, that is true. And think, to me, my advice, because one of the things as a commission is we advise government. Our mandate, number one, is advise government. So because this is a show that is going to the whole country, is to urge my colleagues and leaders across government just to listen. It doesn't hurt to listen. It's humility. Even for us, we came here, we will listen more to them than even us who speak, because we are servants. We're supposed to listen. What are the issues? Because sometimes we impose our ideas on them. Tunakuja na ideas. Some of them, as Mwalimu has said, times have changed, and I've been in policy situations, I've sat in high tables. We talk about youth. In that table, there's nobody youth represented. So we're talking about youth issues. We come up with ideas concerning youth, but none of the youth is in that table. You see? So then we come up with it, then we impose it on them and say, you have to do this. It's supposed to be that we're supposed to be listen, and then we implement their ideas, then we'll not be in the same place.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be coming to you, the rest members of the panels, but let me toss it to my colleague, that is Kamche Menza. Kamche, we've heard there are some of the issues that are underlying unemployment, governance issues, and listening to the youth. What are they saying on your end?
Naam, shukran sana mwenzangu Abdi kutoka upande wa pili. Mtazamaji, kama nilivyokujulisha awali ni kwamba nipo katikati ya umati wa wananchi hapa kaunti ya Marsabit kutoka maeneo yote bunge manne katika kaunti hii, vile vile kutoka hata nje ya kaunti, ambao wako hapa kuweza kuhudhuria na kuweza kuweka sauti yao ama kurekodi kauli zao katika usemi wa sasa. Na mtazamaji, si umma peke yake uko hapa, bali vile vile pia wapo viongozi wa usalama kaunti hii ya Marsabit. Niruhusu nimtambue ama niutambue uwepo wa naibu county commissioner wa kaunti hii ya Marsabit, David Saruni, pamoja na viongozi mbalimbali wa usalama katika afisi hiyo ya usalama kaunti hii ya Marsabit. Kabla mtazamaji nipatiane nafasi kwa kadamnasi iliyoko hapa, nataka kumhusisha vile vile naibu huyo commissioner wa kaunti hii atueleze, manake maswali ni mengi ama maoni ni mengi yametolewa pale. Nakumbuka Farida pale mmoja amesema kwamba asilimia 85 ya wakazi kaunti ya Marsabit ni vijana. Bwana naibu county commissioner, tumeona kwamba kuna ukiukaji wa haki za binadamu, hususan katika masuala ya vijana. Tumesema tunazungumzia masuala ya vijana ama vizazi vyote, vijana wakiwa wengi hata humu nchini Kenya. Pengine kulingana na hapo ulipo, ni maswali gani ama ni hali gani tunaweza kushughulikia masuala haya ama kuhakikisha kwamba masuala haya yanashughulikiwa ipasavyo? Niruhusu nikupatie kipaza sauti.
Kwa majina ni David Saruni, na kwa upande wa, napenda kwanza kuchukua nafasi ni washukuru kwa sababu ya ili kongamano la kuunganisha jamii, vijana na watu wa makamu ili kuweze kuwa na mazungumzo ya kutuwezesha kuelewana na pia kutambua nafasi ya vijana na pia kutambua nao vijana pia kutambua nafasi ya watu waliowazidi kimo kwa miaka. Kwa hiyo hii ni fursa moja nzuri sana, na kama ulivyosema walivyoelezea pale kwamba ni kweli shida zilizopo sana kwa maoni yetu ni kwamba shida zinatokana na ule ukosefu wa uelewano sana ikifikia upande wa malezi na ama socialization ya vijana wetu, na pia na sisi pia ambao tuliopita miaka kuelewa mahitaji ya kizazi cha sasa ambacho kina upeo na maoni, na pia wameweza pia katika karne ya digitali na mambo yao ni ya kasi sana, na kwa hiyo pia katika huo utofauti basi tunashindwa kuelewana. Lakini kama tukizungumzia kwa upande wa serikali na pia kama mzazi ni kwamba tunahitajika sisi wote kujua na kuelewa mahitaji ya vijana wetu, na pia vijana wetu waelewe kwamba hawa wazazi ambao wamewalea pia wana nafasi kubwa ya kuwalea.
Thank you so much. That is the DCC of Marsabit County. Just, of course, interlinking with this particular conversation, we only have 2 minutes before we take a short commercial break. Let me quickly toss it to our Sheikh on this particular panel. Sheikh, you have just heard what the DCC is talking about. Quickly, what has the interreligious done to speak to the youth that the government and other institutions are not doing so that they can be on the same level?
Asante sana. Kama shirika la dini, serikali au shirika au tumefanya nini kubuni ili wa vijana waweze kupata nafasi ya kazi? Sisi yetu ni kuangazia kwamba uwazi iweze kufanyika na nafasi ambayo itatokea pia isiwe kwa wale wazee ambaye wameretire kutoka sehemu moja tena wanarudishwa kwa kazi, waweze kupatiwa vijana kwanza, kwa sababu vijana wanakuwa na cheti nzuri na bado wako nyumbani. Kwa hakika ni hasara kubwa kwa wazazi hawa vijana kukaa bado nyumbani baada ya kuhitimu masomo yao, na itakuwa ni idle minds, wanafikiria mambo mabaya. Hasa katika jimbo letu la Marsabit tunakaribiana sehemu ya Somalia na pia vile Ethiopia. Drugs aina tofauti. Zamani tuna miraa peke yake, lakini miraa sio drugs tena. Kuna mambo mazito ambayo si hatujui yako katika jimbo hili la Marsabit, yaweze kuondolewa ili watoto hawa waweze kusurvive. Hata wanapoongea hawezi kuongea mtu kamili, wanaongea vibaya kwa serikali yetu na viongozi wetu hawezi kuongea kwa sababu ya haya. Kwa hivyo nafasi ambayo inabuniwa wapewe, iangaliwe haki kwa kila sehemu, waweze kupatiwa kazi. Na sio hiyo peke yake, tunashukuru rais wetu, hata manyumba ambayo zinajengwa tunaona, sisi tunasikia na tunaona. Jimbo la Marsabit hatuna habari hiyo, iweze kuingia hapa ili uweze kushughulika na kujenga ujenzi katika ile nyumba, waweze kusaidika watu.
Shukran sana Sheikh. And of course on that particular note, you've just heard how the Interreligious Council is of course bridging that gap with not only the older generation but the youth who are the bulk of this particular country. We're taking a short breather, but continue talking to us on our social media platform at KBC Channel 1. Remember, the hashtag is Amaniko Ground, so don't go too far. The session continues on the other side.
Wakenya wenzangu, this August, something big is happening. Chan 2024 is here, and Harambee Stars are ready to shine. Let us come together and support our boys as they fight for glory. From the first whistle to the last goal, let us cheer loud and proud. Tune in to KBC Channel 1 and let's cheer our boys. Because when Harambee Stars win, Kenya wins. Twende kazi, Team Kenya all the way.
Mpango wa Mungu juu ya maisha yako lazima ukuje kufikiana. Mpango wa Mungu juu ya jamii yako, mpango wa Mungu juu ya kazi ya mikono yako lazima ikakuje kutimia, hata kama unapitia vita za aina gani, hata kama ni vita za kiroho, vita za kimaisha, lazima mpango wa Mungu juu ya maisha yako uje kufikiana.
Ni kwa neema ya Bwana.
Welcome back. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The Marsabit Town Hall continues this evening. Of course, we're coming to you live from the Catholic Social Hall. The conversation continues. We'll be linking up with our colleagues, of course, that is Rose Were and Cam Chemenzo, who are still with our crowd members. Remember, our audience here will be engaging members of the panel. We had left off in some of the solutions that will be offered going forward, and we want to build that particular national trust on the road towards cohesion. Right now, I wanted to give the opportunity to Farida. Given that, Farida, you're a communication expert, how do we start building national trust and to establish that trust between the youth and not only with the government, but other institutions?
Thank you. That's a good question. And in my opinion, I feel like for us to build the trust between the youth and the government and other institutions is by inclusion, and not just inclusion, intentional inclusion. Not just inviting the youths to sit at the table and listen to what is being said. They should be given platforms to speak up and shape on the outcomes, give their views on the outcomes, and also actively engage in decision making. And also, their policies should be given priority. And also the other thing that I would like to add additionally is that for us to build this trust, there should be more dialogue, like this transgenerational one that we are having, like the way the commissioner has said. He usually sits at the table where they're making policies for the youth, but there is not even one youth representative in that table, and these policies are usually imposed on us, which shows you that there is a big disconnect. And I feel like it's about time that we as youth, we are engaged in the tables where our matters are being discussed, and this will build trust. And also when we are given, also when we are involved in this all decision-making processes, we are going to feel a sense of belonging, and we are going to be committed to that piece, and also to all the things that we are supposed to accomplish as youths together with the government, like the understanding that we are supposed to have between ourselves. Yeah.
And of course, Stephen, you had raised one concern, that is corruption, that is related to governance. So how can this be tackled to regain the confidence, not only you as a youth leader, but the youths you represent in Marsabit County?
Thank you. Us as the youths, we are not only shaping the future, we are defining it. And the issues of corruption, it's a big issue that needs to be addressed. And the youth need to be, as Farida said, we need to be in the table and to discuss on giving the EACC the independency to not only to even prosecute. And we've seen most of the agencies, especially the EACC, that do tackles on issues of corruption, that they are so lenient, especially on the corrupt individuals, especially the politicians. We as the youth, we are ready to work with the government and end these issues of corruption. The reason as to why we are having unemployment, the youths are there idling in the streets, it's all because of corruption and ethnicization of politics and governance. So when youths are involved in governance, when youths are brought on the table to discuss issues on corruption, issues on governance even, and leadership of the country, then we are going to end corruption, and we can also come up with more innovative way to deal with the issues of corruption.
Mm-hmm. And Nuria, how can we boost that transparency and accountability?
Yeah, for me, as a civil society organization and as a human rights activist, I feel that all of us need to occupy our spaces. We need to put our voice across, because what I need is not what a youth needs. So opportunities should be given to all. There should be equality, there should be inclusion, so that we are all on the same page. And even when sharing resources, we should decide which resources go where, and we should be also an oversight of that process, so that we can see transparency and accountability going on.
And of course, thank you. Thank you. And of course, Commissioner, some of the issues that even NCIC brought forth last year and this year as well, it's all about hate speech, which has gone even to another level, especially with social media. So how do we ensure that a country that has over 45 tribes are not defined by these tribes?
To answer that, a few years back, 3-4 years back, when we started the Marsabit peace process, our first engagement here was not with politicians, was not anybody, was actually with the youth. We called a youth meeting, and the warring communities, when they came from different communities, the youth spoke with one voice. They were not Rendile, Borana, or Gabra, they just were one. And the issues that they articulated affected them as youth. And everything they told us was, they were very brutal and honest. And they, had we not even had previous engagements, just if we had listened to them, we'll have just brought peace and security to this county. Why I'm saying that is because the issue is identity to begin with. Who are you? Are you a Kenyan first, or are you a Duo, Kikuyu, Gabra, Borana, and Ndile first? You understand? Who are you? It begins with who are you. And one of the things we lauded about the Gen Z movement last year, number one, they said they were tribeless. And that was very important. They said we are tribeless, because the issue that affects a Renila youth here in Marsabit affects a Giriama youth in the coast, and a Luo youth in Kisumu. It is the same issue. Unemployment. None of their peers is employed across the country, whether in Turkana, whether in Mombasa, whether you're here. You understand? So they said, we are fighting for our country. If you hear them, they're saying they are fighting for our country. So for us, what we have done is you fight fire with fire. The opposite of hate speech is positive messaging. You know, it's not saying you can't do it, is amplify the positive voices higher. You understand? Because the negative voices, your colleagues also give them platform in the media. It's the wanasiasa wanapewa platform. Unaona? But we don't give platforms to the positive voices ambao wako hapa mashinani, ambao wanasema sisi we are Kenyans first. Last week you saw them being tried to be divided by saying it's only one tribe that is pushing the narrative. But they all say they are one. Every youth said we are all that tribe. You understand? They refuse that narrative. So it is for us as a commission, what we did in the election last cycle, we took a few young voices and really pushed positive message across social media. But secondly, also, we are really being firm on politicians. Very soon, I can tell you for a fact, you will see arrests coming, because we've given enough warning to these people. So those who are funding hatred and also using proxies, bloggers in social media to push that narrative, also with us and other agencies in government will deal with them. But also we'll try to amplify the positive messages to counter the hateful and negative messages.
And you just heard it here, of course, on KBC Channel 1. There, the Commissioner clearly stating that in the coming days, they'll be going for not only politicians, but bloggers who are funding hate speech on that particular social media platform. At this juncture, I want to link up with our very own, that is Rose Were. Rose, good evening. What do you have for us on your end?
Asante sana Abdi, naitwa Rose Were kutoka na Bongo Mumia Kingdom, lakini muhimu zaidi vile commissioner amesema, mimi ni Mkenya. Hapa tuko ndani ya Marsabit County na KBC Channel 1. Niko na vijana hapa wa kutoka vizazi mbalimbali na wako na talanta kibao. Tutaanza na mwanadada hapa anaitwa Halima Osman, atatupatia kibao moja. Karibu Halima.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is one of the residents here in Marsabit County, just showing the innovation and creativity industry in this particular sector. That's why I want to rope in Sheikh. Sheikh, you see that wonderful talent. How do we ensure that these young ones, the leaders of tomorrow in this particular creative sector, are well endowed? You know, people who are older than the Gen Zs and millennials, they are wise, but these young ones are creative and innovative. So how do we support that?
Asante sana. Sisi kama wazee wa sasa au viongozi wa sasa, tunajua kuna viongozi watakuja kesho. Tuweze kuwatayarisha kwa nidhamu mzuri, kwa kuheshimu hata maoni yao vile ambayo wametoa, waweze kutiwa maanani. Na pia jenzi pia, hatutaki jenzi ya vurugu, lakini ya kutafuta haki yao kwa njia nzuri. Na sisi kama watu dini pia tutawasupport, kwa sababu munayo haki katika Kenya hii. Viongozi wa kesho ni nyinyi, kwa njia ambaye sheria inatuhusu. Kenya ni nchi ya sheria. Tukiangalia East Africa mzima, sisi ndio tuna lead. Hapa Ethiopia, sisi watu wanaharibu nchi yao wanakuja pande hii. Somalia kadhalika. Kwa hivyo tuchukue mfano mzuri ya kutoharibu nchi yetu, na sisi kama wazee ama viongozi tuweze kuheshimu. Tusimalize kizazi yetu, tuweke katika njia maana. Hapo tunaambiwa ndugu moja ya serikali anaomba mzee wetu wa siasa, anasema tuweze kuongea na hawa, tuweze kukaa na hawa. Hii ni maombi mzuri sana ili wapate mwelekeo mzuri. Chukueni hikma kutoka kwa wazee. Hawa wazee kabla kuondoka wanayo mambo mengi sana. Tuweze kutayarisha vijana wetu kukaa na hawa na tuone watatuelekeza wapi. Lazima, nobody is active or perfect. Tuweze kuchukua hikma kutoka kwao ili tuweze kuona nchi hii tuweze kusonga kwa pamoja, wazee na vijana.
Indeed, working together. Thank you so much. Working together as the true generation, of course, bolstering that particular intergenerational working relations as well as communication. I want to link up once more with our very own, that is Kamche Menza, who is currently with our crowd members who want to engage with our panelists here. Kamche.
Mtazamaji, umesikia kutoka kwa wazungumzaji wetu hapo wakisema kwamba tunahitaji kuwahusisha wazee waweze kutusaidia na hekima yao, na vile vile tuwahusishe vijana waweze kutusaidia na ubunifu wao, ama ukipenda kwa kamavu wao. Hapa nilipo, mtazamaji, niruhusu nipeane kipaza sauti hiki kwa baadhi ya wananchi ama umma walioweza kufika hapa. Sijui ni nani ako na swali kwa wazungumzaji wetu walioko pale juu ya jukwaa. Ni muda wa kutoa nafasi kwa baadhi yenu mliofika hapa muweze kuuliza maswali. Kuna wa kwanza, nimeona mkono wa kwanza pale hivi. Tafadhali nipitishie tu kipaza sauti kimfikie. Utaanza kwa jina alafu utueleze swali lako, ama unataka kauli, uko na kauli gani?
Thank you so much. My name is Hassan Mulata, working for IFPC as a lead. In this country, I want to talk about representation, youth representation. The Constitution has guaranteed the representation of the youth. And in political offices, we have nominated MCAs, MPs, who are nominated by virtue of being youth. My issue is about how these nominations are done. The nominations are done by the political parties, and the loyalty, those who are nominated, their loyalty is to the political party, but not to the youth, yet they are representing the young people. The same for the executive. Even in the executive, we have those probably CS, PSS, and the rest who are youth, even at the county level, CECs and the chief officers who are youth, but their loyalty is not to the youth who they represent, but to the appointing authority. So my question is, Commissioner mentioned that they advise the government. How can you then ensure that those who represent the youth have their loyalty to the young people? And finally, the National Youth Council is supposed to be official voice of the youth, but this has never been operationalized since 2009. How can you ensure that the National Youth Council is fully operationalized and be present at the grassroots level, because that is the process, that is the true youth representation that we can achieve? Thank you.
Naam, hilo ni swali kutoka kwa mmoja wa wale walioketi hapa. Ningependa tuchukue maswali matatu, lakini tafadhali nikikupatia kipaza sauti, swali lako liwe fupi sana, manake naona kwamba ni wengi wanaotaka kuuliza swali. Kwa hivyo swali lako liwe fupi na ile tunasema direct to the point, ndio kila mtu aweze kupata nafasi ya kuuliza hili swali.
Asante. Kwa majina naitwa Abdiaziz Boru. Mimi ni kiongozi wa vijana. Yangu ni fupi na ni direct to the point. Nataka kuuliza, mara mingi tunaona nafasi ya vijana. Tunaona vijana kwa program ya serikali, kuna vijana wa kwenda majuu. Kuna opportunity ya housing. Sisi kama Marsabit County na county zingine ya marginalized, hauwezi ona opportunity kama hiyo. Uone mambo ya housing county yetu. Atuone vijana wakienda majuu katika county, ama kuna wale wanaenda majuu. Ikikuja kwa ile kazi kidogo, hata ile ya itaki qualification kama kazi mtaani, unaona tunapewa nafasi ndogo sana. Nafasi kama Marsabit County tumepewa ni watu 800 na wani wameapply ni over 13,000. Imagine from 13,000 na nafasi tunapata ni 800. So tunataka kuambia serikali, they have to be deliberate when giving this opportunity to young people, and it has to be enough so that isikuwe inafanya pia vijana waangaliane vibaya, kwa sababu hiyo nafasi haitoshi, na kuna pia na kuna hiyo opportunity ya vijana kusaidika. So tunaomba sana ni kama ni mambo kazi mtaani, tunaomba hiyo nafasi iongezwe. Vijana vile wengine kaunti zingine waenda majuu, county pia marginalized pia vijana wapewe nafasi waende majuu na wafanye kazi. Na ile nyingine pia naomba ya mwisho ni operationalize youth empowerment centers. Hizi opportunity ya kwenda majuu, watu wana apply huko na wanajisaidia huko, lakini ukiangalia most of these counties which is marginalized, hizi opportunity ya youth hub hakuna. So we want those opportunities to be, you know, worked on so that young people can have a youth-friendly space to, you know, apply for this opportunity to work in these places. Ndo wachane na mambo ya mihadarati na wachane mambo ya kwenda kwa, you know, terrorist groups. Ndo vijana wajisaidie na wajenge nchi. Asante.
Naam, wacha pia nimhusishe mwanadada hapa ambaye ametuburudisha na wimbo wake. Ana swali alafu kisha tutapata majibu kutoka kwa wazungumzaji wetu.
My name is Halima Osman. I'm a representative of with PWD and CEO of Connectors to Network. My question is, most of the time mali kuna mambo inauzika na vijana na opportunities. As a PWD we are left behind. Hatusikii, hatuonekani, hatusikia ni kenye inaendelea like today's dialogue, mali kama hii. Many places, there is a lot of thing going on. But us as a PWD, we are not being seen. Hatuonekani, alafu haitufikii venye inapaswa kufika. And then, as a PWD representative, nataka kuuliza nafasi yetu hapa Marsabit as a representative of PWD and CEO of Connectors to Network, tuko wapi? Mbona tutafuti venye inafaa kutafutiwa? Yeah.
Kabla nirudisho sukani kwako, niruhusu ni utambue uwepo wa waziri katika kitengo ama wizara ya uwiano ama administration and cohesion ambaye ni Amina Chala. Shukran sana kwa kuweza kujumuika nasi. Usukani ni wako, Abdi.
Thank you so much, Kamchemenza. Of course, a question has been directed to the Commissioner, and also I'll give the youthful representative here on this particular set to respond to some of the question. But let me start with Commissioner. Of course, Commissioner, you've just heard some of the issues that have been raised. When it comes to nominations that are done, they're never involved. When it comes to appointments in government institutions, they're never there. The National Youth Council also has not talked about some of their issues. Commissioner.
Thank you. Let me start with National Youth Council. Last year, after the Gen Z protest last year, we had a high-level meeting. The Commission convened a high-level meeting with youth actors across the country, and NYC was there. Now, the National Youth Council, if you read its act as designed, had we implemented even half of what it's supposed to do, we would not have these problems that we're hearing today. And I'm going to be very honest here.
Okay.
And sometimes I get in trouble for saying the truth. National Youth Council was intentionally muted.
Okay.
Yeah? And kept quiet because politicians feared that if they there's a parallel youth-led movement that rises up, especially Kumashinani, they will feel threatened because a lot of, especially coming from campuses, the youth leaders, they are vocal. So politicians in parliament fear that, and even the CSs who were youth doctors of them, they feared the youth as NYC. If you go to other countries, NYC is vibrant, very powerful. Go to Uganda and they do amazing things. So NYC was muted. They have not had elections for forever, basically. So the first thing that we advise is NYC must have an election. It is like that is irreducible. It has to do it. Guess what? The government just released 164 million. First of all, they appointed a new CEO for NYC. They have been acting, which was a problem. And then now, this year, they've released 165 million and they're doing elections this year.
Okay, Commissioner.
And elections is the upper machine. It's these youth leaders, these youth who will come, and then they will come up to the high level and police youth issues now. They will bring to the government through from Mashinani through the NYC as it was supposed to be. And it will be supposed to be powerful, and it will be well funded. We've pushed for funding. About appointments, it is true. Unfortunately, what he has said is true. My thing to young leaders in government is as much as we're in political space, always articulate youth issues, because we as young people owe it to our colleagues to always represent them and fight for them. I have done it, I always do it, and that's why I'm here.
Let me rope in our youthful, because we're running out of time. Kindly, let's keep our response in a minute each. Of course, let me go to Farida. I've just heard some of the issues is about NYC. You heard the commissioner is saying that the elections will be done, the council will be well funded. Are you aware of this as a youth leader?
Yes, I am aware of this. I've seen over the social media and I've been following keenly on NYC, and I've seen that they've released 164 million, just as the commissioner said, but I feel like there was a huge disconnect, because why did it take them so long? This is something that could have been done, because there is nothing for the youth without the youth, and we are the backbone of this country. As we stand now, like the Gen Z movement, it's brought to a halt everything in the country, which means that our issues should be given an upper hand, because we are the leaders of tomorrow. Yes.
Okay. Stephen, the same question, but how are they going to reach you people on the ground?
Okay, first I want to touch on the issue of NYC. The commissioner said that it was intentionally muted, the NYC. Will it, if the group becomes so active again, and you know, leaders, youth leaders are vocal, and they mean what they addresses, will they not be muted again? Will the fund not be, it will not be allocated again if the groups becomes active? So there are a lot of issues that need to be addressed other than allocation of funds. On the issues of inequitable distribution of resources, so it's an issue that we have, ethnicization of politics and governance. Also, it leads to inequitable distributions of opportunities. You find, we've had even tukiambiwa hii serikali ni mambo na stakeholders. So if you are not, if you do not subscribe to certain ideology, especially on tribe, you find you are sidelined even on the opportunities that are available. On the NYC, as the leaders, we are ready to grab these opportunities, and also to have a better Marsabit, and the grievances and the needs of the youth to be heard, not only in Marsabit but outside Marsabit.
And okay, Maria, some of the concerns that also have been raised from our audience members is about this particular program being carried out by the government, that is migration to other countries. You clearly stated that so many graduates here in Marsabit County. So how can we ensure that those people get those particular opportunities to go and work abroad?
Thank you very much. For me, I think from the voices across, you can hear the grievances, and that is what it is. And we must call a spade a spade. We must learn from other countries which have progressed very well, and implement, projects which are viable for our youths. Our youths are talented, they are educated through the hard way. It's by God's grace that these youths were educated. Most of them, their parents sold the only farm they had, the only cattle they had, and took them to school, expecting, fruits from these youths. The parents are desperate, the youths are desperate. I think we are in in shambles. So I think this is not the end of the road. We need to sit, rethink, and see what strategies are best for us and best for our youths, so that we can emulate. Of course, everybody cannot be employed. People have different skills. A lot of skills is in the country. So it's not a matter of white-collar jobs only. They can be empowered through so many other ways. We have a lot of livestock. How can these livestock be diversified so that we can earn from it? So there are very many ways, and if we sit on the table and discuss in the presence of the youth, in the presence of the elders, the women, and everyone else, I think we shall have the results. And for Marsabit, as we know, we came from very far. What is happening today, the unrest and everything happened to us many years ago, and we thought it was only the pastoralist issues, but today the Kenyans are also feeling it because it has reached them. So for me, I think we have a lot of lessons which we have learned. We don't want to be left behind again. We have been left out of development due to historical injustices, marginalization in so many ways, and now we don't want to go into unrest to make our development stunted. So for me, we need to move forward, but when we need to move forward, all stakeholders must be on the table. If you are not on the table, you are on the menu. So I think that's the way to go. The solutions are with us. Marsabit, there has been tribal clashes, there had been conflict, there had been so many issues, and we solved them ourselves. So I feel like the answers are with us. Let the government give us the platform, and I'm sure we have that wisdom, and our children will listen to us, definitely.
Okay, thank you so much, Nuri. Of course, we can hear some of the responses from our panelists. So we are taking another short commercial break, but when we come back, we'll give an opportunity once more to our audience to continue asking questions or giving us comments to our members of the panelists. You as well watching us right now, you can chime into the conversation through our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1. Remember, the hashtag is Amanikwa Ground, so do not go too far. Commissioner, you know I'm trying to manage the responses here.
Siku ya leo ni siku ya shukrani, ni siku ya tabasamu, na ndivyo tuko hapa kusema ni asanti. Kupitia udaktari na daktari hapa jumuiya, tumeona mkono wa Mungu.
Mimi ile niko nayo tu ni furaha. Juu nikifika nyumbani watashangaa leo ni yule mtoto mwenye alikuwa ama ni mwingine. Juu mtoto amebadilika, ako sawa katika neema ya Bwana, na mbarikiwa.
Asante sana kunisaidia mpaka nikafika mahali kama hapa. Wakenya wote nawashukuru. Sasa mimi naendelea vizuri.
Mimi ni Salim Mvurya, waziri wa masuala ya vijana, uchumi bunifu na michezo. CHAN imewasili Kenya. Na waomba Wakenya wote tuweze kujitokeza kwa wingi, tuweze kushabikia timu yetu ya Harambee Stars. Tiketi tunaweza kulipa shilingi 200, 500 na 1000. Na CHAN iko KBC Channel 1 na KBC Radio Taifa. Tukutane Kasarani. Kenya ni nchi yetu, Harambee Stars ni timu yetu, na sisi ni wazalendo wa Kenya.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. This is the first Marsabit Town Hall edition of the Transgenerational Conversation. This is the inaugural one, and of course this conversation will be carried out across the country. Once more, as I told you, we'll be linking up with our audience members so that they can pose their question at this tail end of our conversation to our members of the panel. Rose, over to you.
Asante sana, nimerudi kwenyu tena. Tuko ndani ya Marsabit, KBC Channel 1 na tume ya uwiano na utangamano na wadhamini wengine. Tumesema sio girl child peke yake. Ndani ya Marsabit pia tuko na boy child ambao wako na talanta mbali. Tumesema nothing for the youth without the youth. So niko na kijana hapa anaitwa Gafa Soso. Gafa Soso anasema yeye ni kasuku ya Marsabit. Take it away, Gafa Soso.
Oi nambae arale, oi nambae arosi au foche edal kantae yawai dagai arale yawai dagai arosi au foche edal kan oi nambae arale oi nambae arosi au foche edal kantae yawai dagai arale yawai dagai arosi au foche edal kantae ansila America sige sufede awo naiga chuda dabde batite dabde namusitu nemne male wo chenduri hatu ado sila naiga te hatu imfutu ai manke ngaline ai achnaratai ai adosi fedele ai mandazi omtai.
Shukran sana, shukran sana.
Asante Gafa, sasa
Shukran sana.
ya Marsabit.
That is
Hiyo wimbo
Kasuku
inamaanisha
of
nini
Marsabit
Gafa?
County.
Hiyo ni
Thank
wimbo
you so
ya
much.
msichana aliniwacha.
Girl
Thank you
child,
so much.
msichana
Thank you.
alimuacha na tunataka amani kwa girl child na boy child. Asante Gafa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That
Back
is
to you,
Kasuku
Abdi.
ya Marsabit, of course, just giving us a little bit of entertainment as we're entering the final leg of our conversation. Let me come back here, given that they had raised a number of issues. I want to pose it first to the Commissioner. You heard from one of our audience members talking about violent extremism. You see, a number of youths are not unemployed.
Yeah.
They are not kept busy from the various works that they see their workmates or their colleagues or their peers are doing. Let me ask you, in terms of violent extremism, aside from NCIC and other partners, how are you working to stifle this?
The crux of CVE, or violent extremism actually, is not religious at all. You know, there is that religious angle, especially here at Shabab. It's never religious. It's about economic opportunity and poverty. The biggest recruitment centers for AS was in Majengo in Nairobi. Those people there were Kamau Njoroge and Wainaina and everybody else. It was an issue of religion. It was an issue of economic opportunity. And for us, knowing that very well, working with the NTC, and understanding, as Sheikh has said, when you see youth idle, it is actually a national security issue. So it is incumbent upon us to engage them. One of the things we have done, especially in counties of Wajir, in counties of Mandera, is have measures that are preventive, especially engaging the youth and getting them out of the snares of these recruiters. Because if you don't do that, especially in this corridor, as you said, we border all these nations that we know that this kind of recruiting area. And we've been very active in this county. That's why you've not seen a lot of recruits coming from here. We engage with leaders, from religious leaders especially, because they know the youth. They tell us this guy is in danger, and we've been very active with that, and we have seen actually a turnaround.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me involve Sheikh on the same question. Violent extremism, Sheikh. People in this particular county listen to you as a religious leader. How have you been able to combat this particular issue?
Asante. Upande wa extremists tumeelimishwa ya kutosha na viongozi wetu, na sisi hapa jimbo la Marsabit tumepeleka watoto, yani watoto wameenda, sio tu tumepeleka, watoto wameenda, wametoka watoto wengi. Lakini that incident ambaye ya ugaidi haijafanyika, ingawa wanatumia hizi barabara zetu. Lakini kwa kueleza kama sisi viongozi wa dini na ideological lead, yani parts tumefanya uhamasishaji na wazee wamekubali pamoja na vijana. Kwa saizi hatuko vibaya, lakini uhamasisho unaweza kuendelea, kwa sababu wakati wote sisi ndio jimbo kubwa sana katika Kenya, na inahitaji kazi kubwa. Kwenda kona hii mpaka kona ile ni kazi, na kila mara wazee wetu wa dini na hasa viongozi wetu tunahamasisha. Lakini haitoshi, tunafaa kufanya zaidi, kwa sababu hii ndio corridor sana sana ndugu zetu wanatumia kuweza kufanya mambo mabaya katika nchi yetu.
Okay. And Farida, in the current age that we're living, that is the digital era, because you see these jobs are fine in between, they are not there, unemployment is high. So as a youth leader, what would you advise other youths, because you've seen even young ones becoming millionaires through their program, so that they can tap into the digital environment?
Okay, my advice to the youths as their fellow is that we should seize these opportunities, and there are a lot of them. Last week I was mesmerized to learn that actually there are some trainings that are going on with various stakeholders and various colleges. They're training people actually to earn from their computers and their laptops at the comfort of their home. So opportunities are a lot out there. Just know where your strength is and what you can do best and go for it, because it's not only white collar jobs. We have a lot of things that someone can do to earn money, like being a virtual assistant. People are doing executive assistants out here. People are being executive assistants, working for people who are on different time zones and different zones as you. So it's very much possible. And my advice to you guys is that you seize these opportunities out there. And there are a lot of them. If you do your research, you're going to find one or two that will align with your skills or your passion. And yes, nothing is impossible. The sky is the limit.
Okay. And Stephen, on the same particular question, given that you're also engaging youths in this particular county, you clearly stated a majority of the people who are residing in Marsabit County are youthful. So what are you doing to ensure that they are motivated in engaging in that particular sector? Because I'm sure you can see even the talents that are being exposed here in the town hall.
Thank you. As the assembly, the Saku Youth Assembly, we've engaged especially with the duty bearers on ways how we are going to have a youthly friendly budget, especially in Marsabit. And one of the things that we've really championed for is the county league that in the next few weeks they'll be starting the county leagues. And also we have dialogues with the county government, especially on trying to facilitate the equipping of the Youth Empowerment Center, so that we can have a digital hub in Marsabit, so that the youths can learn the skills and try to earn a living. Okay. Also, we've got talents, and we are still having dialogues in place so that to ensure that we tap into these talents and ensuring that the youths earn from their own talents.
Okay, Stephen. Let me link up with our very own Kamche Menza. Kamche, over to you. What are the audience saying once more?
Naam, mtazamaji, nipo upande ambako viongozi wa jamii ama ukipenda wazee wa jamii hapa Marsabit. Kumbuka ni jamii 14 zilizopo hapa. Miongoni mwa wale walioweza kuwakilisha wapo wa Borana, wapo wa Rendile, Gabra na Burji. Lakini sitaki kuzungumza mengi, niruhusu tu nimpe kipaza sauti kwa mmoja wao aweze kuzungumzia masuala. Kumetajwa swala kuhusu itikadi kali ama ukipenda violent extremism. Unalipi la kuzungumzia kuhusu hilo?
Asante sana. Kwa majina naitwa John Muroga Lagalo. Mimi ni kanso wa Gabra. Nashukuru sana kupa fursa. Cha kwanza nawahimiza vijana wawe kibao mbele kuchunga, yani kulinda nchi yetu. Na namna ya kushikilia vijana, kwa maoni yangu, there are a lot of untapped resources ambaye Marsabit County inakuanga naye. And then the same youths wako very innovative, wako na akili ya kutosha ya kufanya kila namna ya exploit the resources and whatever which is within Marsabit County. So ingekuwa mzuri tukisema serikali ni kutoka national government, county government, and all this has its own resources whereby wanaweza kufanya namna vijana wapate resources kama agro business. Then there is mining business kama hapa Moyale upande ya Ilo. There's a lot of resources ambaye.
Sawa baba. Wacha tuweze kupatia pia wengine nafasi pia waweze kuzungumza.
Thank you.
Kabla sijakuja kwako, kuna kijana upande wa nyuma ambao wameketi upande wa nyuma wanasema wako na swali. Tafadhali anza kwa jina alafu tueleze swali lako ni gani. Inuka.
Well, I'm Andrew Abdu. I'm from Marsabit. We are holding UMATA, youth-based for mental health advocacy. So my big question is, when we start talking about youth about issues about youth, it is endless. The challenges of youth in Marsabit and also across the country is a lot. So it is endless. Just because of time, I just have a question for the government and even the organizers for these programs, the Transgenerational Conversation that is held by the National Coalition for Integration Commission, Kenya. My question is, knowing that youths are faced with a lot of challenges, My question is, what strategic plans? Like, for example, you have UMATA that has helped to train youth through sports so that they are shielded from drugs through sports, and also training for them so that they will be guided. Kenya, KBC has brought us this program. Like, but what strategic plan have they put for youth to shield them from this problem or these challenges in short?
Asante sana. And of course, let's allow the
Naam,
members.
shukran. Sidhani kama ni swali la KBC hilo, itakuwa ni swali la wazungumzaji wetu pale. Ni maswala yepi ambayo mmeweka kuwasaidia. Niruhusu ni utambue uwepo wa Dr. Chris Galgalo ambaye ni msomi, ameketi katika kiti hapo mbele, ni msomi katika maswala ya elimu na vile vile amani. Kwa hivyo shukran sana kwa kuweza kujumuika nasi. Niruhusu nipeane kipaza sauti kwa mmoja alafu nirudishe kwa wazungumzaji.
Asante sana Kamche. And of course, given that we are running out of time, I want to give our panelists at least a minute each to respond to some of the issues that have been raised by our audience members. Let me start with you, Commissioner. Kindly, let's stick to time, given that we're out of time. A minute each.
See,
okay, we can continue.
Okay. I think to answer the young man's question back there, there are other government agencies whose their role and mandate is youth affairs. There's the Ministry of Youth. Even within the county government, there is a lot of engagement. That's why I like the fact that the CEC from the Marsabit County is here, Amina. And I think for us is to coordinate all these activities and focus them, because they're so haphazardly spread. So for us is to convene, tell these government agencies that, you know what, we need to focus more and deliver, because with one finger, a punch has more punch than one finger.
Okay.
So that's what we can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sheikh, a minute. On ile maswali zenye zimeweza kuibuliwa na watazamaji wetu.
Sina kitu.
Farida?
Okay, so as a parting shot, we've had all the questions, and the answer to all of this is listening, which is an art. Just as Commissioner had said before, this is an art. So if we listen to the issues and act upon them, I'm sure that the next time you're sitting on a transgenerational conversation, you guys will be discussing different things and not the same things over and over again. So yeah.
Stephen, as you respond to some of the queries that have been raised by members of audience who are watching us right now, how do we bridge that gap between the old and the young, as you respond?
Thank you. You know, youth, we are movement. And when we speak for all. And we've seen most cases where leaders or government uses a counter divide and rule strategy so that they conflict the youth and drive their own motive. We all want to be listened. That is it. And I know many a times when youths are used to fight the other youths, basically on some small tokens, it's all rooted to unemployment. We are vulnerable because we do not have incomes, we do not have, the poverty level is high, especially on youths. So issues on mental health, well-being, is something that needs to be addressed and looked upon, so that every youth speak for one and have one people. We are tribeless, so we can have one nation, and our destiny is to be listened.
And Nuria, quickly respond to some of these issues that have been raised, because I want to take it back to Kamche so that she can speak to the audience members. We have 7 minutes left.
Okay, for me, of course, there's a gap between the old and the poor because of the culture of how we have grown and how we have lived. And it is not business as usual. Things must change. It must be business unusual, because this is, the state is with us, our youths are with us, and we wouldn't like a situation where our children perish in our hands. For us, of course, we are not digital. Some of us are analog, just trying to catch up with the youth. We are there to give our word of advice. We are there to make them move on and let them also think about this country and this county in particular.
And of course, I want to toss it back to Kamche Menza. Kamche, given that we're coming to a close of this particular conversation, let's give our audience members a chance at least to give their winding comments.
Naam, Abdi, nimerudi kwa umati huku. Maswali ni mengi, sijui kama tutaweza kuyapata yote. Niruhusu niwapatie akina dada, alafu nitakuja kwako. Najua ulikuwa na swali lina kusumbua sana. Tafadhali.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Saida Liban. I'm representing a Trail Hub Women organization. It's a youth-led organization that deals with gender-based violence and sexual reproductive health rights. Talking of gender-based, it does not affect women only, it affects communities and society. We have all seen what happened in Chiromo Hospital, where a woman have been killed by her husband. It's so unfortunate that it's a place that's supposed to be for healing. Another case is at Kenyatta Hospital, where 2 men have been brutally murdered. And again, it's a hospital. And the case of Albert Ojwang, he died in the hand of police officers. It's so unfortunate. These people are the one who's supposed to protect us. Yeah, these people are the one who's supposed to protect us. So my question is, how do we, across generation, confront the growing normalization of extreme acts of gender-based violence, especially within relationships that are supposed to offer love, support, and care? Thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, Kamche Menza, being told that we have run out of time, let me pose that particular question to the Commissioner. He can quickly respond to it in terms of extreme GBV and some of those issues that she has raised, especially the people who are allegedly that is killed at the Kenyatta National Hospital that is being investigated by the police. Also, some of the Gen Zs who lost their lives during those particular protests.
So a quick one, within this program that we're doing, we're partnering with other government agencies, especially on gender-based violence. There is a component on peace building that specifically addresses that issue, especially if you go to North Rift, women are really affected when it comes to conflict. So we're partnering with NGEC. There's a program that we are launching, and it's part of this program that we are doing. So there is an initiative that we're doing with other government agencies, our sister commission, that on the ground to address the issue that she just raised.
Okay. Yeah. Sheikh, wacha nikupatie nafasi uweze kuzungumza kwa hiyo maswali yenye imeweza kuibuliwa pale ndani in terms of gender-based violence and the young people who are losing their lives at the end of the day.
Yeah. Remember, gender-based violence, it is within us in our county. We have to express na uhamasishaji inaendelea na shirika ndogo ndogo hapa na pale. Lakini lazima tuchukue hatua, kwa sababu kuna mahala ambapo kwamba imeslide kama vile katika sheria mtu anakuja kulalamika au kitu ambayo inafanyika, lakini haiwendi zienda mbali. Lazima tuweze kuweka uhamasishaji, na it is within us in our county, kwa sababu tumefanya traditional na hiyo it is within us. So serikali au madao tofauti waweze kuchukua hatua, kama kutoka chief mpaka kwa polisi na pia children's officer na vile katika koti yetu tukufu.
Shukran, Sheikh. That is Sheikh Mohammed Kuli. Also the NCIC Commissioner, that is Dr. Danvas Makori. Also we had on the panel Stephen Robawako and Farida Mohammed, a communication expert. And then finally Nuria Golo Halake. Thank you, panelists, for making time for us on KBC Channel 1. Also our audience member, we thank you so much for showing up and of course contributing to this particular discussion. And once again also thanking not only the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation for making this possible for the members here of Marsabit, but the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, and the Korean International Cooperation Agency for making this possible. That concludes our conversation, but fear not, this conversation will be traversing across the country. You never know, we could be in your county next. My name is Abdiaziz Hashem. Also, Kamche Menza was here with me, and Rose Were. Also, special thanks to the members of the national broadcaster who are behind the cameras. You don't see them, for a job well done. From my end, good evening. Do not go too far. Prime Time edition is up next.
wa Mungu juu ya maisha yako lazima ukuje kufikiana. Mpango wa Mungu juu ya jamii yako, mpango wa Mungu juu ya kazi ya mikono yako lazima ikakuje kutimia, hata kama unapitia vita za aina gani, hata kama ni vita za kiroho, vita za kimaisha, lazima mpango wa Mungu juu ya maisha yako ukuje kufikiana.
My name is Salim Mvuria, the Cabinet Secretary, Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports. And I want to tell all Kenyans, Chan is here with us. I want to invite you to Kasarani so you can rally our Harambee Stars team. The tickets are affordable, 200, 500, 1,000. Harambee Stars is playing, Kenya is playing. Let's meet at Kasarani. Tuko pamoja.
Ulikuwa nikimwangusha.
Uchunguzi ulifanyika na ukaonekana ni wewe ulimwangusha.
Watu si wajinga, tunajua you people mnajifanyaga nyinyi askari na nyinyi si askari.
Si alijitambulisha?
Pingo na mdomo tu. Asipokuwa na uniform siwezi mtambua.
Akiwa bila uniform si polisi.
Kutoa pingo ni kujitambulisha.
Hakuwa amebeba, lakini wewe ni wa hiyo area. Wewe anajua hiyo mtu ni constable.
Am I a civilian?
Yes you are.
I'm a civilian.
Yes you are.
Am I pedestrian?
Just look at the impact of media. This is not to say the media is a very powerful tool also in driving narratives that are very positive. How can we convert this powerful tool to become a tool that can help us change our communities?
My prayer is this: we go back to the Word of God.
Okay.
Because the Word of God captures everything. It's not the responsibility of the media to create a society that is wrong. It is our own personal responsibility. So for me, I treat media as a very important tool in the society today.
Anything that rose as an innovation, the church demonized it, only to discover that this could have been used for the sake of the kingdom.